What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the greatest podcast in the world, Shooting the Shit Uncensored. You know who this is. This is the truth, the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, the beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight, we are live, baby, on Tuesday night. And we have the lovely Niki Nitro in the building. Huge round of applause for Niki. I'm excited to have Niki back on the podcast. It's been a minute since we had her on the first time. So I'm really excited to have Niki back on the show, and we're going to have an amazing conversation. You know we are. But before we get into all of that, I need to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Sleefs.com. That is SLEEFS, Sleefs.com. Now, listen, if you or someone you know is an athlete, you got to go and check out Sleefs. They've got all your athletic gear and wear covered. They've got armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, headbands, boots, mouth guards, and they've even got those dirty boxes that you know I'm always rocking. So do yourself a favor, people. Go to Sleefs.com. Check out those dirty boxes. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount at your final purchase. And while you're at it, while you're tuning in, if you're on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe, hit that little red button and tap in, because you know this is the greatest podcast in the world, baby. And you know that we bring you 2 free episodes every Tuesday and every Thursday. So hit those links, tune in. If you're listening on a podcast platform, give us a 5-star review. It helps with our analytics and it helps us bring more amazing content to more amazing people. But listen, without me sitting here talking shit to myself, let's get in Niki Nitro, so I have someone to talk some shit with. Let's go, baby. Niki Nitro. And welcome back to the greatest podcast in the world, Shooting the Shit Uncensored. And I am joined by one of my favorite people in the entire world. And I know I say that about every guest I have on, but this time I actually mean it. The one and only Niki Nitro. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been a while.
It's like, when was the last time it was on? Has it been, it's been, what, 2 years? Is it 2
I reckon,
years?
Yeah, I reckon it was in like the COVID. Yeah, like when we're having all that freaking lockdown stuff. Yeah. It was a while ago, man.
Man, well, it's good to have you back on. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. It's always, a fun conversation whenever we get the chance to catch up. But how things been going with you? Obviously since post COVID, everything been going on. What's been happening with you lately?
Oh man, I've had so much stuff going on. Like my band stuff and like just working heaps. But like my band is going really, really well at the moment. We just had a gig on the weekend, our first official gig with my band called Devil's Own. And
nice.
Yeah. So we had a pretty massive turnout, man. Like, it was really good. But what else? Like, just getting back into wrestling again slowly, and I had to have a little bit of a break there for a bit. Just all the politic bullshit was getting to my head, and I was just like, oh, fuck this, I can't do it. But yeah,
well, because that's the thing. Like, with being involved in wrestling for as long as you have, what, like 20 years. Like, I don't want to age you or not.
Yeah, about 24 years. Nah, that's all right. Hey man, my age, I don't care. No.
Hey, come on now. I think you're about a year older than me, but you look about 10 years younger than me. So, like, fair play to you. But like, when you're 24 years in, like, politics in wrestling is always going to be there. Like, it's part of what the business is. What was it about the politics after 20 something years that you went, I need to step away from this? Like, was there something particular that happened that caused you to want to step back?
Just so much bullshit, man. Like, it was just, I don't know, like there's always crap in wrestling, but it's just, I don't know. It was just certain individuals that's just really getting to me. And I was just like, fuck this, man. Like, I've got so much other stuff going on in my life at the moment that I needed to step away, and I needed to just clear my head, and I just needed to get my head into the game. My music was going really well, writing stuff with my band, and just like was focused so much on that. So I'm like, I don't need that negative crap from that side of thing that I absolutely love. Don't get me wrong. I love wrestling, as you all know. But it was just certain individuals, and I'm like, man, I have to step away. So yeah, but now, like I had a really good break, and now I'm just getting slowly back into it again, and it's gone really well so far. Like I'm starting to love it again.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes that's what you need to do. You need to step away from something when you start getting a little bit tired of it. You know what I mean? Like, especially when it's something that you really get enjoyment out of, and then when you sit there and it's like it becomes like, fuck, I have to do this thing, as opposed to I get to do this thing.
It was just getting a bit stale, man. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I was having a really good reign. Like, like as everyone knows, Niki Nitro is just some predictable bitch, like heel. But like, I was kind of really liking getting into, like the face side of things. I thought, I had to challenge myself. And because I'm so used to being a heel, I'm like, man, it's getting a little bit stale. I need different, I needed like a different avenue to take. And that was really good. But it was just like so much. There was a lot of bullshit as well that was on top of it. And I'm like, man, I can't. I just have to step away for a bit, and just recuperate and just, get my head back in the game. But yeah, now it's going well. Like I'm back in the game in that.
Is the bullshit still there?
Well, not as much. Like you can't help, like I'm not one to get in politics. I hate wrestling politics, but there was certain things that was just getting to me, and I'm like, I don't like how certain aspects of it were going to certain people, and I'm like, fuck this, man. I have to walk away. And then like I just now it's good, because now I'm back into it, and I'm like, you know what? Politics, I don't give a shit. That's on you. You want to be like that, that's on you.
Well, I think that's the way, like, if people want to be like that, it's like you're living rent free in their head. Like, you can't, like, someone else's opinion of you is not your business. It's not your problem. It's got nothing to do with you. That's their thing. You know what I mean? That's their opinion. You know what I mean? They're the one that has that thought. You know what I mean? Like, it's up to you if you have, you know what I mean? If you let them take up space in your memory, in your mind, you know what I mean? So that's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, no, that's true, man. Like, I totally agree with you. But, like, it gets to that point where you're like, you're getting invested in certain people's situations, and, like, because you like the person, or the people, and you're like, oh, man, and you're kind of like torn, and you're like, shit,
you like the person in the drama, and now you're in the middle of the drama.
Yeah, and you don't even mean to be in the drama, but like it just gets you in, and you're just like, shit, where the fuck do I go from here? And then you kind of, I'm one of those people where I kind of like, okay, I'm going to disappear for a while, and then I'll just slowly come back in.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on, like, look who you're talking to, like me, and like the drama, like that's kind of, I'm kind of dragged into it on a weekly basis, Niki. Like,
that's what I said to you. I'm like, fuck, what am I getting myself into tonight?
No, but you know, like, but that's the thing. This is just a conversation, and like, as far as I'm concerned, I share a platform with people, and it's like, this gives people an opportunity to get things off their chest, tell stories, have fun, whatever it may be, and some people, take solace in it and enjoy to be able to get certain things off their chest. And man, like, I feel obligated to, and I have a platform that wants to hear it. So
that's it.
You know what I mean? I just open it up, for people to sort of tell their stories, so
good to get some steam off.
It is like, I suppose, like, but even then, like, for you, like, you always seem so positive, happy, friendly, and bubbly and stuff like that. And it's like, I can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've heard like rumblings of people saying some negative comments about you in the past, and I've always just gone, really? Like, I don't like, you know what I mean? Because it's like I can only go off what I've seen and what I've experienced with you, and it's never like I've never seen that side of you. And if people are judging something that you've done when you were 22 years of age and now you've matured and you've grown up and you've become an adult and stuff like that, it's like, well, okay, like that's kind of on them for holding on to something.
Yeah, that's it. It's always your haters that secretly love you. But yeah, nah. Like, yeah, I'm not an innocent person, you know, by all means. Everyone's got their, you know, their shit behind them. But as you said, everyone matures and, you know, like they feel like that's a past. The past is past or whatever. You know, like you move forward from that. So yeah, so now I'm just like, you know, now I went through a lot of stuff, you know, like I'm still going through it, like emotional roller coaster, you know, with the loss of my mom, as you do, because it's parents and stuff like that. But that's why, like, I had all of that was going on. And then I was like, man, I have to step away because I was trying, like, my mental health was, like, I'll be honest, like, man, my mental health was fucked. Like, literally, like there was days where, you know, I'm not ashamed to say it because everyone goes through shit, you know. There was days there where I would question, why am I here for? And then, you know, like there would be a voice in my head that would say, you know, look how much you've achieved. And then the other voice would be like, who gives a fuck? You know, like, and it was kind of like weighing up like that situation. But then like it was weird because like music has really helped, like with the loss of my mum, because it's like every time I sing, it's like it's closer to her. So it's like that's helped heaps. But like I admit, you know, I still have my days where I'm like emotionally like up and down, as you know, we all go through it. But yeah, I'm getting there slowly, you know, like it's a roller coaster, but you know, I'm not ashamed to say it, I'm human.
Yeah.
So we all
and like you can see from like, because I've known you for a few years now and been connected with you on social media, and I see you post like frequently about your mom. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, you can see that was a very strong, you know, connection in person in your life. And it's like, not just because it's your mom, but it's like you can see that there was a strong connection that you had with her. And it's, you know, it's so sad that that you had to lose her so young as well. So it's, you know, I'm so sorry for that.
Thanks, man. Like, you know, I love both my parents. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I love my dad to death. But like, it was just like you know, like it's different, you know, when it's a girl and like it's their mum. So you know, like that. Yeah, like you got that, you know, like that level understanding. But yeah, no, I'm getting better. You know, like it's just and like I was also going for a shitty relationship. Like it's just it was all fucked. So and now it's like my life was just like woo. but now I'm getting better. Everything's good. Apart from, you know, like we had a loss just recently. Like we all know him, Kyle.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, a bit of a step back, but you know, he was an amazing kid. You know, it's only been like, I have to say, like in the time that I've been in the business, like there's been two, like, you know, like two that have kind of touch your heart, and now they're both gone, you know, bless them both. So it's just, yeah, but he's still with us, you know, Kyle, yeah, and Chris.
Yeah, like it's funny, like, you know, for Kyle, he was like the first regular viewer of this podcast. Like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he was the one who was blowing it up, and like before anyone really knew who I was, and was sharing everything. Like as soon as I'd post something on social media, he was liking it, commenting, all that sort of stuff. And it's just like, man, like that first live episode I did after his passing, man, like I was like, fuck, that was actually like there was something missing. You know what I mean? Like it was just, it felt like, I don't know. Like it was just, his presence was missed. You know what I mean? Like it still is.
Oh, definitely, man. You know, like that kid was, you know, diehard fan. You know, like he wrestling and his music was like everything to him. And it's like, it was just such a shame, you know, 23 years old. Like, as they say, you know, the good ones always die young and the shit people always stay. So it's just,
right? But you know what the thing is like in reality though, Nikki, is like everybody is at least one person's asshole. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
but you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure I'm the bad guy in at least a few people's movies. Like, you know what I mean?
more than likely.
But you know what I mean? But I like to think I'm a nice person. I like to think that
Oh,
people,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like whatever, but it's, you know, I'm just,
For sure, man. You are what you are, you know, but at the end of the day, if someone doesn't like you for you, well, then that's on them. Yeah, exactly right. That's it. That's like with me. If someone don't like me for them, like for me, oh, well, fuck them. So it's not like I'm going to lose sleep over it.
No, definitely not. Like, do you find like now, like in this sort of day and age with like wrestling, that it's like, because we're kind of seen, like, there's kind of like almost like a divide in wrestling, I feel.
Yeah.
Like there's certain promotions over here and there's certain promotions over here. And I feel for this side of the promotions on this side, it's very limited with women wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like I feel like that there's a limitation there to a certain extent, and like, you know what I mean? Because I feel like certain promotions, it's like there's like two promotions will book the same two women, you know, every single time, or like, you know, maybe circumvent or put someone else in. Do you think that there's something that could be like done here to sort of strengthen and have more women around these other promotions? So then the women's match doesn't necessarily have to be a women's match on the card, if that makes sense. It's a way you can have more female wrestlers.
Well, that's it. Like, I honestly, like, you know, now that I've come back, you know, because like I said, you know, I had a bit of time out. I'm just coming back, and I'm just like, I don't want to do full on match right now. Like, I just want to come back in and just like manage. And I think, you know, for like, honestly, women in wrestling, but it's like some guys, I'm not going to say who, but like I've heard down the line, but some guys like, oh, you know, there's no place for women, you know, in wrestling, rah, 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 rah. But the thing is, man, like, you know, you need women in wrestling because, you know, number one is a perv fest, you know, for men. Two, you know, like it entices other women to get in, you know, that like, and it builds confidence, you know, and then it gives like, you know, it's like for someone like myself, Flame, you know, Vixen, like so many other amazing, talented, like women out there, you know, in wrestling, not just wrestlers, by like managers and that, it inspires other women to come in and go, oh, you know what, maybe I could come in, I could be somebody's manager. And then like, you know, maybe they could, you know, train a little bit and then have a little spot here and there and you know, like build the love of it, because like, it's just like, it's just not fair. You know, like, as we all know, you know, in Aussie wrestling is very limited to women's wrestling, you know, like there is not many women. And like you said, certain companies like will only book the same women, and it's like, man, yeah, fair enough, you know, they work well together, they know each other's work, you know, they work great together. But it would be nice, you know, if they had like maybe like back in you know, like years ago, I would always want a female manager. Like that was just a thing that I just wanted. And people were like, oh, Niki Nitro is a lesbian, oh, Niki Nitro is bisexual, and I let them think that, because it was like, you know, having a female manager was something different. And like for me, you know, and it helped them over, and it got me over, and it worked well for my character.
But it was different as well.
Yeah, that's it. It was really different. And like, I really like that, because it's like, you know, it's not always like the typical chick guy, you know, chick guy. It was like, you know, chick, and it was great. You know, like it just worked, and it was different, and it was fun. You know, it was really fun, and that was just, it's just sad, because like, as we know, you know, we get older, and like women want to have babies and stuff like that, and yeah, she is good, you know, like they don't want to come back in. But then you've got, you know, like you've got ones that do that young and go and have kiddies and like, you know, come back in slowly, which is great, you know. So but yeah, I just think it's so limited in Aussie wrestling. Like,
I just think it could be showcased more. Like I feel like the promotions that do just like we have to have a women's match on the card. It's like, well, hang on a second. Like,
well, you don't. Like,
you know what I mean? Like, but I just feel like, you know what I mean? If you've got like, I don't know, 4 or 5 women that are better workers than your males.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they should be on the show. You know what I mean? Like, find something. You know what I mean? That would be my thought.
Yeah, definitely. You know, like if they have, you know, but then like some companies only have like one chick, you know, but that's why I like, there's some people that's against intergender matches. Like me personally, I think they're fun, you know, like if you've got two mutual wrestlers, like female, male, that have a mutual understanding, like, yes, you are a girl. We can do this and this and this and this, not sexualize it. Then it works, you know. But like if you're doing an 18+, you know, maybe you can have like a, you know, a bit of a cheeky thing in there. But like, you know, when you're doing PG shows for children, it has to be like, you know, structured a certain 100%. Way. Yeah. Otherwise it just doesn't work. But like on another side of it too, you can't have a chick wrestler and a guy wrestler is like 120 kilos and the girl's like 60 kilos. It's just unrealistic. So, you know, they've got to have very similar, you know, they don't have to be the same size, but, you know, they're very close in weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so it's kind of realistic because at the end of the day, we are entertainment. So everyone knows that. You know, like if you want to wrestle, go do UFC, go do Roman Greco. You know, like if you want to entertain, then by all means, you know, like you got to wrestle, yes, but you have to entertain. And I feel like personally, I feel that's what's lacking, you know, nowadays. You know, there is no storylines. Where's the psychology in matches? You know, like at the end of the day, we are telling a story in the ring. So bloody tell a story in the ring. You know, like, you know, if you're a heel, don't get up on the top rope and do fancy moves. You know, especially if you're a big person. Like, yeah, maybe for a shock factor every now and then. But like, you know, just keep it like I was told, keep it simple, but tell the story. And it always will work, you know? Like, yeah, it's very acrobatical now. It's changed heaps of business. But like when you look back at the old stuff, it was a story. And it was great because people were like, oh man, like what's going to happen next? Like what storyline's going to happen next? And that's the thing, that's the saddest thing, I think, you know, like with the wrestling nowadays, there isn't really story.
Do you think that storytelling is just gone in matches or actually storylines?
Storylines and storytelling, you know, like I just feel like this is my, like, you know, I'm not, you know, like this is just my personal opinion. Like, I think that, you know, you are in entertainment, right? And you are an entertainer, you know, like from my acting background, all of that stuff, like you got to tell a story. It's like, it doesn't have to be like scripted, you know, like you can have certain points in it, but as long as you're telling a story within your match for that particular show, that leads up to the next show and then the next show, you know, because people are like, oh shit, okay, well, what's going to happen next? You know, like, oh, I want to come to the next show and I want to see what's going to happen next. And I feel like that's something that it's lacking. And it's really sad, man, because, you know, like back in the old days, it was always storytelling, you know, and like, it's just, yeah, it's just shit.
Well, it's like how wrestling used to be. It's, you know, when you watched wrestling, there was like that cliffhanging moment at the end of every episode. And it's like the same thing when you watch a television show, when you watch, like, for example, did you watch Sons of Anarchy when it was on? Like, like, you know how they ended every season with this major cliffhanging moment, and every episode was very similar, which are with these mini little cliffhangers. Yeah, there was like there's none of that in wrestling anymore. I feel like there's nothing that's sort of at the end of it just makes you go, oh, you mother.
And that's it. And that's what, like, you know, like I was told, you know, from Al Snow, I love Al to death. He said, you got to treat that match as an orgasm. And I've said this to many of the wrestlers, and they're like, wow, we really do. And I'm like, man, you got to treat it like an orgasm, because at the end of the day, you know, like you got to have the big boom. You know, if you're going to get the big boom, then you got to get the big boom in the next match that you have. You know, so like in my mind, like I treat it as an orgasm because it's just, you know, like that's what it's supposed to be, like the big bang at the end of it. You know,
the big bang at the end of it. Damn.
But like it's just, like if you could see it like that. Like at the start, I was like, what the fuck? But now, like, because of how he explained it and stuff like that, it's like, you know what, that's so true. You know, you got to treat it like that. Hey, Sonny. Oh, hey, it's been Sonny. A while.
Hey, you know what? The last time Sonny Siaki was like, we did this podcast,
he had an argument.
He did with Kyle.
With Kyle.
But Kyle had no idea he was in the middle of an argument. Poor Kyle. What's up, Sonny? Bro, like, man, he's a guy I'd love to get on here. You and me. Yeah, dude, you should come and do that one as well.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be dope. But yeah, like it's kind of I agree with you. The storytelling aspect of it, I feel like it is lacking. But even then, like there's like I feel like wrestling now, for the most part, like everything is very, very quick and fast paced. And I said this the other week when we had Damian Slater on.
Yep.
And it was like everything's just like fast paced. I said it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I see all these moves, they're really impressive, but it's like what there's no room to let the crowd sort of acknowledge it.
Yeah, they're not taking it in. It's like, you know, boom, 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 boom. But it's like, you know, like it's a 2-second orgasm, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, is basically
exactly. That's it, man. Exactly.
It's a full. It's just quick.
Yeah.
Damn right, it's uncensored. Hey, you get anything on this podcast? But it's funny because, like you mentioned, Al Snow, and like he has some of the best analogies, I feel like, when it comes to professional wrestling. And I think what is one? He's like, wrestling is like, wrestling is like the entertainment, wrestling is like the entertainment business or the porn business. Don't involve children and animals or something like that.
Yeah. That's so true, man. He's just like, honest to God, I love Al to death. You know, like I love all the boys that I've worked with over the past. And I love Sonny because Sonny's a classic too. But like, you know, just listening to, you know, like the guys that have been in the business before me, you know, and just how they explain certain things. Because, I was a shithead, as we all are when we get into the business. We're like, but my trainer, like, like Andy Harpus, he always said this, like from the get-go. He said, no matter how long you're in this business, there's always going to be somebody better than you, and your ego will, if you let your ego take over, you'll die, basically, like not literally like die, but like, like you would just fade off. And then like he also said that like when you're in that match, if you are going to make your opponent look shit, you're going to look worse. And like he drilled that into our heads, and it's so true. So like when I go out there and, like in the past when I've worked people, I want to make, if I'm the bad guy, I'm going to make that person look $1 billion, because it's just going to make me look like even more of an asshole, when they attack me. And, but like one thing I really love is comedy, like the comedy aspect of like certain matches. And, like with my character, because she's just an unpredictable fuckhead, she can do anything. That's the good thing about like heel Nitro, which I have to say, I'm back to heel Nitro.
You're enjoying being the heel?
Yeah, when it's in your blood, it's in your blood. I did like Maureen as like the good guy. It was kind of fun because it was challenging, but because my natural personality is just nice anyway, and I just kind of I basically put that character on like a 16-year-old airhead bimbo wannabe rock star kind of thing, but like being a heel, it's just like unpredictable. Anything can happen with like an unpredictable heel. And, like comedy matches for me is good because it gives, like like even though it's supposed to be like a match, and you know there's a good guy and the bad guy, but like if I can make a mock of myself and the crowd's gonna laugh, I'm doing my job, you know. So
100%.
yeah, and that's why I was saying, you know, like about the psychology in matches and stuff like that, you know, like about the storytelling. And that's what, like, I love to storytell. I don't have to do all fancy schmancy moves. Like I used to do all that top rope stuff, but like as Hogan said, keep your boots to the mat, your career and your health last longer. And it's so true, you know. So I'll pull out the old school axe handle sometimes now.
Yeah, you do the old, the wrist like
yeah, that's it. You know, a Hogan leg drop, something like that. Because I love old school wrestling, and like I always have. You know, like you know, there's so many amazing, talented workers out there now. You're like doing all the flippies, but like to me, you know, for my character, I just think old school for me is the best school for me. So it's just everyone's got their own love of what they want to do.
Yeah,
and you know.
I can appreciate all styles of wrestling as long as it's good.
Yeah, that's it, man. Like, you know, there is some credible performers out there, you know, and I'm the first person to say, you know, I'm not the best worker in the world, but I can tell a story, you know, and I can get on a microphone and I can shoot a promo off the top of my head, and you know, like it works for me, you know. So like but there
you've
is
also
a lot
gone and invested in your wrestling as well. Like you've traveled, you spent time in OVW, you spent time around people like Al Snow and Devon Dudley, and you know what I mean. So you know what I mean. Like even then, like you say, you're not the best worker in the world, but you've gone and invested in yourself into this.
Oh yeah, Sonny taught me a lot of stuff. You know, like Sonny was really good, like trainer as well. You know, but I think that at the end of the day, like, because I've got the opportunities and I'm extremely humbled, you know, like honestly, like every opportunity that I have had in my career, I am so thankful for, because not a lot of people get to have opportunities as what I've had. And I'm a highly respect, you know, I highly respect like all the timers before me and before them. And, you know, and I respect the timers that are coming, you know, after me too, as long as their ego doesn't take over the head, you know, like it's just, you know, if someone, like, I'm all, you know, for giving out advice. If someone comes up to me and says, Nick, you know, do you think that this could work and this can work, and they want to sit down and they want to listen to what I have to say, if they want to take it and walk away with that, that's fantastic. If they want to take it and not work away from that, you know, like that's still good, you know. But at the end of the day, at least they've come up to me and said, oh, you know, like, do you think this will work for my character? And I'm like, yeah, man, you know, because I asked them too, you know, like the guys, you know, before me. So it's like you're always learning. The beauty about wrestling is there's always something new to learn, and that's the love for it. So it's just sad, you know, when like when the newbies come in, like not all, I'm just gonna clarify that. Some newbies come in and they think they know it all, and it's like, dude, you've been in this business 2 fucking minutes, you know, like just you know, step aside a bit and just watch, you know. It's all fine and dandy if you're you know, if you're very athletic, but you're going to probably end up breaking your neck or an arm or a leg or whatever, you know, and then like what's going to happen, you know, and like, you know, they'll end up in wheelchair or whatever, you know, like I've injured like my spine. I've broken my nose 4 times. That's what you could probably tell. You know, I've had injuries in the past, but but in saying that, you know, like I've been in the industry for 24 years and I haven't had major injuries because of the advice that I was given, you know, from Hogan. Keep your boots to the mat, career health lasts longer. So, and it's so true, you know, but each their own, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's true though. Like when you look at the high risk, you know, wrestlers that do high risk moves and have put themselves in like that, like Mick Foley, for example, like when he retired the first time, he was 38.
Yeah, yep.
Like how like that's so young for a wrestler to retire. Like you see people now like LA Knight who's 40, who's just like really getting his, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, he's awesome too. Yeah.
It is, but it's like, you know what I mean? Saying like, but 38 to go, man, I'm going to walk away and retire at the peak of what the business was. That's pretty wild. You know what I mean?
But, you know, like he was pretty hardcore though. You have to admit that. Like he did not look like a worker, but that man, like he can work, you know,
100%,
and he was very smart. Like, but that's the thing about the old timers. Like, you know, they knew how to tell the story, you know, and you could make something look so nasty, but then it could have been like the lightest thing, you know, like the lightest punch of the world, but they could make it look so realistic, and people are like, holy shit, you know, and then they go home going, oh my God, you know, like, look at this, like Abdullah the Butcher, you know. So it's just, it's not, you don't have to hit hard to make something look hard, so to speak. You know, like you don't have to, like you don't have to fool, you know, like, yeah, you're putting your body on the line, but you don't have to like put your body on the line as like, you know, oh, I'm going to end up in a wheelchair tomorrow, you know. But I don't know. It's just, like I said, it's changed so much, the business. That's why I had to step out for a bit. And now, like, just looking, you know, stepping out and just like looking in, the whole business has changed, you know, and that's understandable. We're a new generation, so like, you know, I can't say, oh, you know, like old school's the best school, but like I said before, for me, like I think like it works for my character.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it's also like I said, there's different styles for different workers. Not every style is going to matter. Like, not everyone can go and be like Rey Mysterio in 1995. You know what I mean? Like, no, you know, not everyone can go and do that, or be Psychosis, or go and be the Big Show, or, you know what I mean? Like, you've got to work with what you've got, and you've got to work within your comfort as well. Because if you're not comfortable with something, then obviously you can't do it safely. And if you can't do it safely, you're putting yourself and also your opponent at risk, which is against everything what the business is. So
that's it. You got to keep each other safe. And honestly, like, I don't think anyone would really like, how can I say this without insulting? I'm just going to say it straight. Why fucking put your body on the line for $50? You know, why risk your life for $50? You know, like, it's just like, yeah, you want to make it look fantastic and like have people go, holy shit. But at the end of the day, you got to think about it this way. When you get older and you've had those injuries and you're crippled, who's going to look after you then? And then you're going to look back and go, fuck, man, I risked that for $50. And it's like, so I was told over in the USA, don't risk your life for $50. And it was like, man, it's true. But then, like, when you're in the moment of things and like the adrenaline hits in, you're in a completely different mindset. So like I can appreciate and understand that too. But then when you walk away from it and like for a week later, you're like, man, like my back or my neck, and then you think about like you risk that for $50. It's like, you know, you kind of level it up. Like when you're young and stupid, you know, you have hardcore matches and stuff like that. Like Flame and I, you know, we had hardcore matches over the years when we were younger, and like, yeah, hitting each other over the head with trays and all that, beans and all that stuff, you know. But like now I think about it when I'm older, I'm like, do I really want to risk that now? You know, like I'm older and it's like I've already been concussed so many times. So I'm like, shit, man. Like, and when you get older too, you have to understand, you know, that like dementia, you could get in early dementia. Anything can happen, you know, like brain rattle. Like look at all the footballers, you know, for example, all the boxers and all of that. But like we all love this business, you know, we do love this business. We're all stupid, you know, like we're all stupid to a degree. We have to be. There's something fucked up in our brain, you know, we want to go out there and put a fantastic show on and hurt ourselves for the love of the game, you know, like the love of the business. And that's fair enough. And like, I can appreciate that. And you know what? There's probably going to be critics out there that's going to be like, that fucking Niki Nitro. It's like, but you know, like it's just, I think about it now and like when I was younger, yeah, you know, I'd risk shitloads for $50. But now I'm thinking, like, there's so much other things that I personally have to think about because I am older, and like I have to think, well, you know, I can't do what I used to do, you know, but I can do this. So, you know, like going out there and just putting on a show for people and like making people either love me or hate me is like that's the beauty of it, like for me. So but like, yeah, it's just like, if I wish, you know, like that wrestling, like entertainment wrestling could be sponsored, because then like there's so many incredible performers out there and athletes that deserve to be paid a lot more money than what they get paid for to do what they do, you know, to put a show on. But I guess it's always been like that in indie wrestling. So it's just, you know, it probably would never change, but it's just the love of it. You know, we all do this because we love it, and we love to entertain the audience. So
it's one of those like things. It's like I had this explained to me where it's like from a veteran of like 30 plus years in the business. Who actually trained under Johnny Rodz, and he said wrestling is like an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
He goes, that's the way I see it. He goes, man, wrestling has fucked me. It has like done some amazing things for me. It's like, he goes, I hate it. He goes, I can't stand it. He goes, but it just keeps drawing me back in. And I keep. And he goes, and I'm defending it. Oh, well, that it'll get better. You know?
Yeah, that's what we all do.
He goes, and he also telling me it's a fucking abusive relationship. He goes, and you know what? You realize it, but you still do it.
Yeah, exactly true, man. Like, it is. Like, I hate wrestling so much, but at the same sense, like, I absolutely love it, because it's like, oh man, it's like the biggest love and hate of your life. It's like your true love. You know, you always have an abusive relationship with that, you know, but it can either make you or it can break you. So it's just, yeah, like I totally agree with what he said, you know, like being in it for as long as I've been in it. And it's just, yeah, it's like a drug, man. It's just like, it just brings you back, you know.
Yeah, for real. Giant Cody in the house.
Oh, Cody. Hey.
Good shout to. We got the all-stars in the audience tonight. I feel like this is like, you know, the VIP chat in the house. But it's crazy though, because like we talk about injuries and stuff, and we've recently seen in the last month or two a couple of young guys, you know, Benny the back rower, and teams, you know, injure themselves to the point of, you know, where they've both stepped away from the business. You know, like that's the thing where it's like, as you said, it's like, do you feel like that wrestling now and the wrestling audience has such a high expectation? And I asked this question to Tyson Gibbs when he was on, and his response was, well, who's working who here?
Yeah,
you know, like that's what it comes down to. But like, for your response, do you think that the wrestling fans are demanding a higher level of like a risk and expectation?
Yeah, because of the oh man, the dynamics of how it's turned. You know, like, see, back in the old days, you could have a match, you know, with two big guys just attacking an arm the whole show, like the whole match, you know, and it would get over, and it led up to another match in the story. But now, because there's so much like athleticism, you know, like so much acrobatical performance, the audience are like, oh, well, you didn't do that, and you don't do that, you know, like, I'm not interested in you because you're not doing this and this and this and this and this, you know. But the thing is, like, they need to also appreciate that not every worker can do exactly the same thing. And by being a worker, like, from what I've seen, it's like that high expectation, like, you know, there is like, you know, this guy's doing all this fancy stuff, and then, you know, you got this guy, and they're both working the match together, and he's doing all this fancy shit, and this guy's not really doing all the fancy shit, and the audience is like, oh, you know, like, well, he's doing this and he's not doing this and that, and it's kind of like that peer pressure. which is really sad. You know, like I don't think, like honestly, like personally to me, I don't think you should have to risk all of those high like impact moves to hurt yourself just because an audience expects that from you. You know, like they need to understand that, like, okay, well, this guy can do this, but this guy can't do this, you know, and they have to understand that like everyone is different and like the athletic side. So if this guy's going to be doing all the groundwork stuff and this guy's going to be doing all the high impact stuff, then it has to level out. You know, you can't have everyone doing all flippies. Otherwise it gets boring. Like who wants to go to a show and see everyone doing flippy? Like, you know, I don't. You know, I want to see some big guys get pound and ground, you know, down like and like, yeah, I want to see
that's your flavor. That's your flavor of ice cream, but there's someone else who has a flavor of seeing something different. And
exactly, it has to be like that because if it's not like that, it's just the same shit, you know, and it gets boring. Like I appreciate everyone that can do all the flippy stuff, but at the end of the day, you got to have some guys that pull out the old school moves, and you know, you got to keep you have to keep old school wrestling within the new generation wrestling. It's a must. You know, you have to, because it tells the story. You know, so I think that like by the audience expecting like, you know, this guy's doing all this and this guy doing all this, they need to learn to appreciate like the story, like what the two workers are doing in the match. You know, if they can't understand that, well then, you know, they need to look up on their old, the background of like old school wrestling to tell the story, because it's psychology. Everything is psychology in a match. You know, that is the beauty of entertainment. You have to interact with the crowd on certain levels. You know, if you're the good guy, you got to make that crowd absolutely adore you and absolutely hate that heel. You know, and you're going to understand like also that there's going to be people that absolutely love the heel and people that absolutely hate the face, you know. But like me, if I can go out there and make one person absolutely hate me in that crowd, then I've done my job. You know, I don't care if everyone doesn't like me. People can love me to death. But if I'm screaming at someone and that one person is attacking me and they absolutely hate my guts, then I am done what I'm supposed to do. You know, like, and like, that's just how I've been brought up in the business. And like, I just wish that like, you know, people kind of looked at this as entertainment, as a storytelling. That I'm not saying that everyone doesn't, but like if people actually step out and actually, you know, like invested their time into the old stuff, like the WCW stuff, and they actually learn about the history of like entertainment wrestling, then they kind of get it, you know. Because I always ask this one question, to the newcomers. I'm like, what is the only fake thing about a wrestling match? And I was asked this by Al, you know, and they're like, oh, the first thing they say is the character. And I'm like, no. Next minute they'll say the punches. And I'm like, no. They'll go, oh, this. And I'm like, no. Think about it. What is the only one fake thing about a wrestling match? And they go through it and through and through it. And I'm not going to say it on air because, you know, I'll tell you later. But, but like, because otherwise everyone know it then.
Yeah, 100%.
So like, you know, once they actually, they've gone through everything and I'm like, nah, it's not that. And then it's like, boom, holy shit, it's this. And it's like, exactly. And that's the psychology of it all, you know. So it's like, it kind of makes sense. So like, to me, I've always just, I don't know, I guess I'm just so old school when it comes to this. But yeah, that's it. Exactly. Go, like, you know, yeah, exactly. One person just guessed it.
That was pretty much exactly what I was thinking. But you didn't want to say it. I'm like, all right.
No, I didn't want to say it because you know, like, we don't know who's watching this, and like, you know, there might be newcomers that are like, and I'll just draw them as well. But I see, that's the thing. Like, the person that asked me that question was Al, you know, and I went through a few things, and he sat there and he's like as he does, you know, he's very straightforward and just like serious. He goes, no. And like Chris Hamrick, he was sitting next to me as well. And like those boys, like I honest to God, like I learned so much from our and like the boys over there and the girls too, you know, like I'm not discriminating because some of the girls actually taught me a lot of stuff as well, you know. So it's just like a mentality of like what I have, and a lot of veterans of this business, you know, will also agree that, you know, like everything has to be a story. It has to tell the story, you know, because that's why we're in entertainment.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And I feel like that is the key to it as well. But it's funny, like, because the Al Snow story, it was like, as soon as you were telling me, I'm just like, I had an idea, and I'm like, I wanted to say it, but I'm like, oh shit. But, I think someone else did. But like, you know, like when you train with Snow, like Al Snow, like what was it like? Like, what was your relationship like with him? Like, was he like, as a trainer, what was he like?
Oh, well, I worked many shows with Al and Gold Dust and all of them. But like I just learned the psychology side. Like, you know, he would sit me down and he'd question, you know, and which was good. I really appreciated that because like I didn't need to get in and like take bumps and stuff like that. Like it was just the psychology of the business. Like, you know, with Sonny taught me a shitload of stuff, you know, like just holds and stuff like that, and just how to maneuver around the ring and like how to run the ropes right. And you know, like he taught me a lot of that side. But like with Al, he taught me a lot of the psychology of matches and all of that, which, you know, which was really good because it kind of it opened my eyes to like a different world of wrestling. You know, like even though I learned heaps of stuff like from Andy, it was just like when I went over there, like because it was so different. See, like everyone has their own different things, but with Al, he's a very good trainer, you know, and he sits you down and he explains to you certain things like why this is like this, and like it was really good. Even like with Devon, you know, like with my matches and stuff like that, I send to Dev, and like, you know, it would say, oh, maybe you need to do this and this and this and this, you know, and it's so true, you know, like, because I'm still learning, you know, like as we all do, you know, and that's the beauty about this business. It doesn't matter how long you're in for, you're always going to learn.
There's always something new that you can pick up along the way.
Like it's just, yeah, and that's the best thing about it, you know, like but it gets to a stage like where I was getting stale, and I was like, man, I need to step back, you know, like because I lost a lot of love for it, you know, like just with the politic bullshit and stuff like that. And I always promised myself that I was never going to get invested into that stuff, but it just draws you in, and it really sucks, you know. And there's some things that I disagree with in this business, like a certain how can I explain? You know, like everyone has a past, man. Like, okay, let's say it like this. Everyone's got a past, you know, and like just to categorize certain individuals in like, you know, and stereotype them for their past, like, you know, just like it is just fucked up. And, you know, like I'll be the first to say there is one person out, you know, like, but I have my reasons for this, and like, you know, I refuse to, you know, associate myself with that person. And, you know, I don't want to fucking associate myself with that person, you know, because at the end of the day, I don't need that bullshit in my life. And like, you know, at least I can go home and walk away from wrestling, you know, with a clear conscience, so to speak, you know. But like there's other people that just carry on the bullshit. And you know, like they're certain individuals aren't booking certain individuals because of like past situations and stuff like that. And it's like, man, people can change their life, you know. Just because they were like that doesn't mean they're going to constantly be like that. And that was the thing that was really pissing me off about the business. I'm like, you know, and like I just thought, you know, fuck that, man. Everyone's in this because they love it. You know, we're supposed to be a family. And like you were saying before, you know, there's people that like they won't book these people and they'll book the same people all the time. And, you know, like they're just at the same shows, the same matches all the time. And it just gets stale, you know. But like, yeah, they could be the greatest workers in the world. And, you know, like it'd be fantastic. But who wants to go to the same show and watch the same people all the time? You know, you want kind of like different flavor. So like these two people are working this show, then you're going to go around to this show and they'll work the same fucking match, you know, on this show.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you got your diehard fans that go from this company to this company and this company. And it's like, I understand, because like you women, there is not many women in this industry, you know, as we were talking about earlier.
Well, I think there's more now than
than what there was before. Yeah, definitely. But in saying that, you know, like even though there's more women in certain companies, these women will not work these other women because these other women apparently shit, you know. So it's like, well, hang on a second, how can you judge them when you're not willing to give them a shot, you know? Like, it's just I just think it's, yeah, I don't know, it kind of is shitty. But like I did work one individual, but I never work an individual again. You know, I just I just don't. I just fucking won't. but like that's on me at the end of the day, you know. But then I'm willing to work like all other people, you know, and like I worked, you know, like other people in the industries and like different companies and stuff like that. It was fun, you know, but it's just the ego.
So you mentioned the other individual earlier, and I'm assuming I know who we're talking about, which the other Niki. You know, I just wanted to ask, like, from your perspective, where did this tension and animosity come from between the two of you?
Oh, it just came from a long time ago with a fucking company. You know, like I just like honestly, you know, like to be quite frank, and I don't care if this person is watching this, and I don't give a shit. But like me, I don't need to justify myself to anybody. You know, I don't need to fucking, you know, I don't need to explain. How can I be?
If you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to.
Yeah, like I don't need to explain like everything. You know, at the end of the day, you got, there's people that you don't connect with, and there's people that you do connect with.
Of course,
and,
yeah, I get
and like that situation, like it's a past situation, and I just prefer to stay in the past. So it's just you know like that. Yeah, like it. Yeah, I just we a lot of people know.
Sure. No, like I didn't know. That's why I asked.
Okay,
and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on.
That's cool, man. No. All good. You know? No tension. But yeah, like at the end of the day, you know, like I'm willing to, like, you know, I'm professional, so I will be on the same show, but I just request I don't want to be in the same
match.
Yeah, like I don't want to be in. I've worked it before. There was no connection, and that's it. You know, like you know, you got people that you can connect with. You got people that you can't connect with, and that individual I can't connect with. So, like, you know, like I'm happy to be on the same shows as, you know, what she's on and stuff like that, because that's, you know, we both obviously love this business. But, you know, in saying that, I won't work her anymore ever again. No. So like, yeah, it's just, yeah, there's. It's just a shit.
You don't need to explain anymore. Like, I'm sorry for like.
That's cool, man. No, all good. That's why I just want to clarify that for everybody that's interested to know.
Yeah, no. Like I said, it was like, it wasn't a loaded question at all. Like I said, it was
no.
The conversation went there, and I just asked it. So,
this is uncensored, man. So
100%. This is why I shoot the shit uncensored. Anything can happen. But, you know, in saying that as well, like let's touch on like a bit of your acting as well. So, you know, the world got to see your acting chops in Hauser, as we talked about that, you know, the first time we had you on. You know, what other acting sort of roles are you still sort of pursue acting at the moment, or are you mainly focusing on music?
Yeah, no, like both. So we have like finally, we're hoping, well, it's in talks, like it should be released at Halloween, like Hotel Underground. So we were filming that like through the COVID stuff and that, and, you know, because COVID, everything, we had to put everything on hold. So yeah, like that should be coming, like that should be screening soon. But we also have Council on 7 Mate with Paulie as well, and now he's searching for the biggest bogans, like in Australia again. So we have Bogan Hunters happening again. But other than that, like like I've been given, you know, like some little gigs here and there, but like my music, I'm kind of like with my music stuff, because we're starting to get, you know, a big following now, which is really cool. We're focusing heaps on that. Yeah. So originally, like I was in a band called Vicious Circle, and like we lost a drummer in Vicious Circle, and then we were looking for a drummer, and then we got like our drummer that we have now, Jamie, like incredible drummer. And then when the boys, like the old guys, they ended up leaving because they had health issues, Jamie and I stuck together. And then Jamie's like, oh, we need a name change. And like we were just rattling on, and yeah, Mr. Ha. I love Mr. Ha. And then like Jamie brought up Devil's Own. And it turns out like it's like there's a song out of Five Finger Death Punch, which I absolutely love. Chase Stevens got me on the Five Finger Death Punch. Thanks, Chase. It's called The Devil's Own. So yeah, so it's like, you know, it just fit perfect, man. And like now it's just like, because we do everything from like rock, grunge, pop, and like a bit of punk, you know, and like the gig that we had on the weekend, like it's just got some mad feedback. And my homie Mikey Lord, he came like with his missus, and also did Taylor, like, you know, they came to Taya, sorry, and it was awesome, man. Like, you know, especially like when we rocked out like Killing in Namer from Rage, and yeah, I have to sing you through some stuff, and Sandman, you know, like we had Anna Sandman as well, and like, man, I don't know where I got that voice from. It's like something just come over me. It's like Nitro just turned up the house. But like gig, yeah. So we got some mad feedback. So like I'm focusing heaps on the music at the moment.
Writing your own stuff as well, or you just
writing my own stuff. So like me and the boys, like we got like two songs release on SoundCloud. So we have Gaslighter, and that's about my stupid fucked up ex, and Confusion Surrounds, which is pretty much like about the voices in my head, you know, and it kind of connects with everyone. It's kind of like a mental health thing, and you know, like it's so those two, they're actually getting some pretty good play, which is really cool. But yeah, we're a cover band that do write our own music as well. So yeah, focusing like heaps on that at the moment.
Oh, that's awesome.
Still doing the acting stuff and that, and you know, like slowly coming back into the wrestling. So I've got a couple of shows with AWE on the 20th of October and the 27th.
Oh, cool. So you're doing the Halloween shows for them?
Yeah, it should be fun.
That's dope. Well, now that like, because you got the band going and stuff like that, and you're writing your own songs, you could have your own song as your entrance music.
Yeah, I did. I came out to Confusion Surrounds.
Oh, really?
It was real mad, man. It actually it went over pretty cool. Yeah, so it was that's cool. Like that's when I was a faith. Yeah, like I said to Sammy, I'm like, bro, like, you know, if you have a show, you know, and you need us to, like, maybe we can play some of like, definitely, Sonny, definitely. We can play, you know, some like entrance music. It'd be heaps cool. So like Sammy and I have like, we're in talks of like this little thing going on. So just got to wait for some feedback like from the club. And yeah, to be mad, like our band like can play, you know, within the show in that and be really cool. So
that'd be dope.
Yeah.
And then you can sort of like go from like, you know, win a match, like put your hand, and now this next song.
yeah, into a big run in. We're like, raw. People are like, what the hell?
We'll have like the guitarist just like pop out of nowhere and just like play a riff and just smack your opponent, and you get the roll up.
Oh yeah, kind of like a Bray Wyatt thing, you know. Ooh, God bless his soul. Yeah, that's pretty sad. So many deaths, so recent too. But yeah, like like Sammy and I are in talks. Like we've got this mad plan that's gonna happen. But like I'm looking forward to, you know, like the next couple of shows with AWE. and just getting back out there slowly again. You know, like I'm not like, I don't care if I don't have a full on match. You know, I'm not really fussed at the moment. Like I'm just, because I've also like Jamie, my drummer, is always like, "Yo, be careful, you know, like your voice." I'm like, "Yes, I know."
But where can everyone follow you on social media and you know, follow your journey and come and see the band play and see where you guys are going to be playing at?
Well, we got a website, www.devilsown, DEVILZ own, one word.com.au. That will link up to our Facebook page, our Instagram, all our social, like TikTok, blah, blah, blah. And then that can also link up to like my fan pages and stuff. So you've got Hayley Housos, like Nicole Sharrock at Hayley Housos. And then you've got like everyone, heaps of people know my Niki Nitro page anyways. But yeah, like in the Instagram handles and that, everything could all link up from the website. So that's the best. That is probably the best thing to, you know, like to click on to get all of the socials all in one instead of going blah 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 blah. But yeah, but other than that, we are in talks of having another gig.
Nice. Right.
Yeah, down this way. So you got to make your ass down here. Bring your wife.
I will.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. So that should be on the 18th of November. So that's at Club Windang.
Club Windang. All right, I'm going to mention that to the wife when we get off here, and we'll lock it in.
Yeah, and you can do some. Oh man, like on the weekend. Oh my god, it was so cool. Like it. So it ended up like a full on mosh pit, man. It was
really
mad.
It was like a big crowd at this place.
Yeah, like, well, see, usually these guys don't really get many people on a Saturday night, and like the boys and I, we bring in so many people. It was so cool because it was our first official gig, and honest to God, like, man, I was so excited. Like at the start, we had a little bit of like technical difficulties, as you do, you know, because it's like the first official, and you know they're always gonna again, freaking hell, boy, he couldn't come to the last one. So yeah, like you had like a little bit of like technical difficulty, but after that it got really cool, and like yeah, it was entertaining for like the old generation and the young. So like I said to the boys, I'm like, you know, because I go to heaps of live bands down here, and they always really play the same, you know, like the older stuff. And like, yeah, you got to shuck those things in there, obviously. But like we put like Nirvana in there, Hole in there, like Green Spoon, like we put heaps of different stuff in there. And it turned out really well. So like the manager of Club Windang has contacted us and said, listen, you know, we want to book you guys again. Like, are you available November 18th? Because, you know, like you guys have got some mad feedback. I'm like, yes. So I'm pretty stoked about that. It's cool. Yeah. So yeah, you'll have to come down, and whoever's watching, like you can try and get your butts down to Club Windang, down my neck of the wood.
We'll do a live shooting the shit there. Like everyone just come down there, and instead of doing it on YouTube, we'll do it live.
That'd be mad. You could like interview everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
But interview everybody. It'd be cool.
Hey, look, Niki, I promise you we wouldn't do more than an hour. We're just gone over that. But you know what? I feel like we got to get you back. We got to get you back on again very soon, because I feel like it's been too long since we had you on last time. But look, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. As I said, you are one of my favorite people, and I do say that about everyone that comes on this show, but this time I actually mean it. Thank you for coming on. But guys, also make sure you go and check out Devil's Own. The link we'll put in the description of this video, and also the podcast if you're listening to it. So click the link. You'll find it there in the description, where you can go and follow Niki Nitro and the band and keep them up to date with everything they've got going on. But thank you so much for coming on. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you again. But
thank you for having me.
Hey, anytime. But we got to do it again very soon. But guys, again, this has been the greatest podcast in the world, Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am the truth, Piers Austin, and this is Niki Nitro. Till next time, we'll see you again very soon. Take care. All the best. Mwah. Peace.
Bye. Bye.